Hey there everybody, it's Eternal Snowman here with another TLT video. This is going to be part 2 of my match versus PD. Um, he just went, okay, you pick tier. So I'm up 2-0 right now and we're going into game 3, which is either going to be NU, doubles, or UU. So we'll see what he picks. Probably going to be UU or something, but we'll see. UU, what do I have prepared? It is going to be this team. Um, I think there's a decent chance that he decides to just bring cheese, but we're okay with that. We're just going to roll with this. Has a nice amount of stuff left. Um, this is pretty good against cheese, the Latios, and we've got like Scarf Infernape and Steelix and Necrozma both trade pretty evenly. So I could see this being like pretty decent versus cheese. So we're going to go with this. We don't have whatchamacallit? Don't have the um, defog, but we're okay. I think this is fine. Yeah, I think that's about right. Okay. So NU is the choice of tier actually. So we're going to be rolling with this team. It's the team I've been using a lot recently for NU. Banded, Pangoro, standard stuff mostly. Poisonium, offensive wheezing, I guess, is kind of the outlier Pokemon. And everything else is pretty standard. But as well as its heal bell Vaporeon instead of toxic, because we have other ways to pressure mons through T-spikes and whatnot. So the heal bell support is pretty nice and helps me win a lot of the balance battles. So we'll go ahead and challenge him. So hopefully everything goes well. If I do win this next game in NU, then we're going to be in a good spot. I don't know if he's going to cheese NU. This team isn't too good versus cheese. Scarf Delphox is okay. And, okay, so he's also going with relatively standard stuff. Slash wall TLT top 8 game 3. Okay, so looking at his team, this most likely it probably represents Silvally Fairy, if I had to guess. Otherwise, he doesn't really have a good switch into Pangoro. His other option is Steel. Steel or Fairy seem the most likely. It looks like probably Rocks and then Z move on this or Z move on this, in which case it would be Life Orb or Choice Band Aerodactyl. We can look for either. Let's go ahead and say that. It could be Scarf Mesprit, Rocks on Arrow, and then this thing. Okay, what are his most likely leads? So he could lead Pass into this. He could lead Mesprit. Don't know why I'm getting stuff. So Pass, Mesprit, Arrow if it's HO, but it doesn't look like HO. It could be HO with Z Celebrate Vaporeon, which could be very annoying for me. What do I do versus that? They run Surf, Ice Beam, HP Grass. Okay, so I think it's a priority for me to get up Toxic Spikes, but okay, so depending on what he leads, if he leads the Aerodactyl, it could be an offensive team with Z Celebrate Vaporeon. If it's Mesprit lead, which could also be Rocks, and then it could be Pass lead. Okay, so I think Steelix lead is pretty safe against all of those options. We want to see what his Silvally form is, but Steelix beats both of the most common forms. Vaporeon lead could throw me off potentially, but I do have my own Vaporeon to switch in. And also Wheezing could come in to just set up the Stealth Rocks, or sorry, T-Spikes, which is going to be very important. T-Spikes is going to be good if it's an offensive team, because then it can poison that Vaporeon. If it's a defensive team, or like a balanced team, then Stealth Rocks is going to be very important to pressuring his Mons. Vikavolt is most likely going to be some like Roost Agility stuff. Maybe it could be Roost Agility like Metronome. It could be, um, or like, sorry, Roost Metronome or something, or Agility Metronome or something. It could also be Z-Move Agility. I could see Choice Specs potentially. A lot of different possibilities here. It doesn't look like my Pangoro is probably going to put in a lot of work. We don't have Prio on it either, so it's kind of hard for it to deal a lot of damage because he doesn't really have a lot of the slow bulky mons that it's really good versus. Okay, so what's Mesprit gonna do? It's probably just gonna Stealth Rock. And I think we're good to Stealth Rock trade here. Even if it CMs up, I think we're okay with that. So knockoff means that he's either defensive or Scarf. If he switches out here, he's most likely Scarf, and if he's okay, so he has defensive Stealth Rocks or offensive Stealth Rocks, question mark? That did so much. Okay, so now we have the option to go Decidueye because he's most likely going to go into Vaporeon. Now that we've confirmed that Mesprit's rocks, it most likely means that this Vaporeon is also a defensive variant. It could also be, yeah, I think the safe play is just a Gyro. So we can take the safe play. The punish on this would be like something like Ice Beam or something. Yeah, so we're okay with taking the safe play. It is defensive Vaporeon here, which is basically what we want to confirm. He goes for the Toxic. We're completely okay with that. Let's just click Scald. Yeah, let's just Scald. Okay. It's a Volley Poison. Burn? No burn. Poison is normally also defensive, so I think we're just good to Wish. Poison does kind of annoy the Wheezing because it means that it clears T-Specs for Wheezing, but we're okay with that. Okay. Likely, if he goes Vikavolt here, I can just go straight into my... okay, we're okay with this. And so he has the option to go straight back into his Silvally. He has the option to go into his Mesprit. I think we just Scald here. We want to fish for the burn onto the Silvally. Okay, and hopefully we get it here. Yes, we get the Silvally burn. That's pretty good for us. I think we can just click Wish pretty freely here. Yeah, there's not much of a punish. We can either go into our Wheezing here or our Decidueye. And I think Decidueye here is better. We don't mind eating the Toxic as well. So we can just freely fire off a Leaf Storm, and it'll deal a decent amount of chunk to anything that comes in, and nothing really wants to take this. Decidueye is unfortunately going to be slower than max speed Vikavolt, but we can take a hit just to scout the set. Okay, we see the Scald come out. And then we can just fire off the Leaf Storm. If he does decide to bring in Silvally, for example, Silvally and Vikavolt are the two resists. If he decides to bring in Silvally, he'll have to take the chip, and then we're completely okay with just taking that trade. If he goes into Vikavolt, we're also okay with that. He could be Roost, but we're okay with just going for the Leaf Storm. Well, we want to scout his set just to know what that Vikavolt is, because, for example, if it's not Roost, then we're in a pretty good spot. So we'll see what he does here, and we can react accordingly. Okay, he's just gonna take the hit. All right, so then I think we can just go into Pangoro here. He's forced to protect. So yeah. And then we're gonna fire off a superpower. Where the aim is going to be the same as before. We just want to force out this Vaporeon and see what he has to go for. Same Mon switch in, except for, I mean, like, he can go Mesprit and sack it, but that's never his play, so. Let's just see what he goes for, and then we can react accordingly. I believe this time he is forced to not stay in with Vaporeon, if I know correctly. I don't actually know that 100% the calc. I should actually be calculating this. Vaporeon, menu defensive versus Pangoro, menu choice band. Okay, so it actually doesn't do that enough. He could just wish through it potentially. If he does, we can cycle through to Decidueye. We're okay with that. And the reason I'm willing to risk this is because we know with Pangoro that we have the backup of being able to just like go into our Vaporeon and like heal up afterwards. So bringing down the Savali low is pretty important to us because we do care a lot about the Savali HP here. Being able to pressure it to the point where it can't really come back in is going to be very important in this matchup because of the wheezing and how powerful T-Spikes can potentially be in this matchup. So let's see what he does. He could bring in the Mesprit. With knockoff revealed, I don't know what his remaining moves are, but I can probably freely go into Steelix. Or Vaporeon. They're both pretty safe. I think Steelix is probably fine. I don't want the Vaporeon to get knocked off if I can avoid it. So we're going to go into Steelix. The reason why we're not scared of something like Ice Beam, even though it would do a decent amount, is that we think that it probably can't beat Steelix considering the sequence that happened within the first few turns. Also, we're okay with Steelix taking some damage as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and go into our Decidueye right away. The big thing will be to prevent the Silvally from healing. So as long as we can prevent that, we're good. Okay, he goes for the Toxic. Once again, we're okay with this. We don't care too much. We're just going to risk because his best play here is probably just to protect, which he does go for. So we can just... let's see. I can Leaf Storm just to pressure him, which I think I'll do. So he goes for the Wish. Let's go into Wheezing here on the Protect. And then we're going to fish for a Poison. And yes, I understand that while... yeah, I understand that only 2 Pokemon are really getting hit by the T-Spikes at this point. Hitting the Vaporeon is so important in this matchup because of how much Vaporeon just sits on me right now. There's a few other options to dealing with it, like, for example, tricking it with Delphox, but it's going to be a little bit harder to get into that scenario. And we kind of want to keep our Scarf on Delphox because it gives us a good insurance plan versus a lot of these Pokemon. Okay, so let's see what he goes for. I think there's like a few possible plays he can go for. For example, he can just wish and try to 1v1 me. Okay, so he's going straight into his Aerodactyl. We don't get the poison. Wheezing. So my spread is very different from the standard spread because I'm running a very offensively orientated Wheezing. So let's go ahead and just calc how much the Sky Attack does. So it will kill us. What does he think it will do though? So it does not kill the defensive variant of Wheezing, but I think he understands that I'm offensive just based off that Sludge Bomb. I'm just gonna go into my Steelix. I think this is just a generally safe play, and his play was just, or he just decided to roost instead, which is completely fine. We can either go for the pretty safe Earthquake. We can go into our Vaporeon to heal up. We can go into our Wheezing to try to get down some T-Spikes, which I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and go into Wheezing. The Gyro Ball is very likely here, so... or sorry, the Vaporeon is very likely here, so yeah, let's just go ahead and get in our T-Spikes. I don't mind too much if he Earthquakes here because we can have the opportunity to heal up with our... yes. Oh, wait, that does so much. Oh, it's Life Orb. Okay. Okay, so we get the roll there. I think we're willing to take that roll because we don't have any other solid answer. So we go ahead and take that roll because I think it's the best play for us in that scenario to go for that roll. Giving up, like for example, going into Vaporeon, it's going to be very hard for us to recover, and so we want to keep the Vaporeon healthy. I mean, like just looking at the calc, Life Orb versus Steelix. What is my spread? I believe I'm no Fizz Def. Earthquake is yeah, it was like about it was in his favor to kill. But you know, like I said, we're willing to take that roll. Okay, what is he going for? Protect here means that we get to scout his move, but also it's going to lower his his Silvally down into range. Let's see. How much damage does Steelix take from Stealth Rocks? So it's one, the 4, and then 1/8, 1/16, 1/32. So 352 divided by 1/32. So he takes 11 damage. So it dies on the next switch in. Now let's just go into Vaporeon. We get to keep the sack, which is pretty nice, and we get the free turn with Vapo, which we can use to wish or to heal bell our Decidueye. There is always the risk that his Silvally can do something to my Vaporeon, but because it's burned and he revealed Surf already, it's very unlikely. Like the most I could see is potentially like, I don't know, some version of like Toxic being a thing, but because we have Heal Bell, we're okay with taking that risk, which isn't really a risk in this case. Okay, so it's leftovers on his Vikavolt. I think we can just go safely into our Pangoro. Let me check the calc, but Pangoro and your Choice Band versus Vikavolt. And you pivot. And, okay, yeah, so like Bug Buzz will deal 82 max. Knockoff on a non-Z move will do 85. Okay. So we're okay with taking this. If we kill the Vikavolt, yeah, alright. So he goes for the switch. I guess this is predicting my Delphox, or maybe like, I'm not too sure exactly, but let's just go for the knockoff here. If we do manage to knock off the Passimian, that's pretty good for us as well, so we can take that. Yes, it is Choice Scarf, and then we're going to go ahead and use our sack here. Importantly, because if we use our sack, it also denies him the U-turn if he decides to click that. Okay, so he decided to click knockoff. We can go ahead and go into our Wheezing. Actually, no. Wheezing means, or Toxic Spikes doesn't actually help us in this situation. I'm thinking. Going Decidueye would allow me to just fire off a Leaf Storm. I live the hit for sure. Maybe that is just the play. The other option is just Wheezing. I think if we just go Wheezing and we fire off our Z move, I think, I mean, Delphox and clicking Psychic is pretty safe, so let's just do that. Okay. We can either Psychic again or go Pangoro. I think we just go Pangoro. I really want to just Psychic again, because I think he's going to go for the Wish. Okay, let's do it. Alright, nice. That's a pretty level 1 read. Like, I think he really has is in a really bad position, so having to go for that Wish is like would allow him to make up tempo, because like his Vaporeon is so important in this matchup. Now that it's down, I think the game is basically over at this point. Yeah. I don't think Mesprit lives a hit. Let's see. From Delphox. Psychic with max special attack. 21. If it's max HP, does 17 min. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's not even that, because Steelix did 61 with Gyro Ball, so that's not even possible. Yeah. Oh, wait, a max attack. So he's no HP for sure, so even if he, if Delphox does the minimum amount of damage against, like, I don't know, if he was randomly, like, max Spadef, it still kills. So we just Psychic. Okay, and Vikavolt, I believe, will probably live a hit. So we just switch out here. Psychic, 47 actually, to 56. That is not my spread. Oops. Party. Okay. Bug Buzz does 54 max, so you could just try to roost on me. I just go Pangoro. We don't want to risk any crits or anything. Yeah. And then let's just knock off. Okay. You just go into a Vaporeon. We can click Wish, I guess. Then go into Pangoro. Okay, and then we just click knockoff. It does 77. And yep, we won. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. Well, this is good. 3-0, pretty clean. We did get a little lucky in NU with the roll on Steelix. We got lucky in OU because of the flinch, but We played to our outs. We can be happy. I'm pretty sure I played very cleanly in all of these games. I'm sure somebody will point out some ways that I didn't play well, but um, I am pretty happy with how I played overall. And I wish it wasn't a two-parter because I did want to take care of this like at once, but it is what it is. And I hope you guys enjoyed both parts of this. Think the 3-0 is I can be very happy about it, and going forward, I hope that I can continue to do well. I believe I'm playing GXC next week. I think it's already locked in, if I remember correctly. So not much else to say. I think that's about it for this video. If you liked this video, then leave a like and subscribe. And if you didn't, then I don't know why you're watching. See you guys next time.